And when I was exiting, I saw this beautiful Black woman. She looked like she just got off of work, but she had her luggage with her, and she was pulling this chain link fence, like some scrap fencing that was under the freeway, and boxing herself in with it. And I realized that it might be her first day out on the streets, but she looked like she just came from the office, and it made me wonder how many people are pretending to be okay right now.
Hey, beautiful, how you doing? You all right? You a preacher? This your church? I ain't never seen a reverend in skates.
Incoming call from Sugar Lips. Incoming call from
my
Sugar
car's
Lips.
going off because that's...
Incoming call
Hold
from
on.
Sugar Lips. Call declined.
It's messed up. I apologize. It kept beeping.
I'm Presh Williams. Welcome to the Big Picture Film Club. As part of our special UK-wide screening of I'm Fine, Thanks for Asking, I'm joined by two very special guests. Firstly, lead actor, director, screenwriter, and producer, Kelley Kali, and also executive producer, and guest star and comedian, Deon Cole. How are you both doing?
Great. Thank you for having us, Presh.
I guess, Kelley, firstly, I wanted to explore like how you sort of came up with the concept of the film, or just how the concept of the film was sort of born.
Yeah, please excuse the dogs barking outside because
That's all right.
can't control that. But this was during the middle of the pandemic. There was no vaccine in sight. We were still like all wiping down groceries because we didn't know what was what. But it was about July 2020. I had woke up with this pressing feeling that I need to make something, and I can't sit in the house. And I knew I had a stimulus check and some unemployment. So I called my friends from my film school friends from USC and had said, hey, I got a little bit of money. Why don't we make a short film? And they were down. But once I hung up the phone, I called back 5 minutes later and said, you know what, we're masters in making short films. Let's make a feature. And they're like, with a stimulus check. And so, but it became a if you build it, they will come sort of situation, because you can't make a feature on a stimulus check, but you could start one. And then so I've been working with Deon. He's my writing partner. We're working on another script. He said he actually got mad at me because I didn't ask him first. So he was down to help and so generous with his time and helping us to get this thing going. And then our other producer, Capella, she came in to help with the finishing funds, and it just became a village effort of telling this story.
And Deon, what drew you to this project, and specifically the script and the idea?
Just the idea that Kelley had. It was interesting and something that was feasible, something that we can do, and in a small amount of time under the conditions that the world was under. And yeah, it was just like a no-brainer.
And Kelley, like when writing the story, I guess, you know, how much of Danny's sort of backstory did you think to include? Because there's not like much, or kind of how did you know how to shape the story into the sort of narrative that we got?
So first, when we were thinking of concepts, I knew that I wanted it to be something that was affecting us currently in Los Angeles and around the world. We all were being affected. And I was going to get a COVID test one day. And there's a freeway over here in LA that you exit from the upper freeway down, and then there's an overpass. And when I was exiting, I saw this beautiful Black woman. She looked like she just got off of work, but she had her luggage with her, and she was pulling this chain link fence, like some scrap fencing that was under the freeway, and boxing herself in with it. And I realized that it might be her first day out on the streets, but she looked like she just came from the office. And it made me wonder how many people are pretending to be okay right now, and showing up, but aren't okay. And so that inspired the origins of the story. And a lot of it came from when we were brainstorming with my co-director Angelique and our other producer Roma. We knew that we couldn't cast. We had to bring in like whatever crew members were our friends, or like a friend like Deon, who's an actor, and like we pulled in everyone. So a lot of story was shaped out of necessity too. So like the little girl in the story is one of our family friends, whose people used to joke she looked more like my kid than theirs. And so I incorporated her having a little girl. Like, what would it be like to have to hide this from your child if you're just temporarily out of work, but that gray zone right in between of not fully homeless, but you don't have a roof over your head. This just housing insecurities that everyone is facing.
And to both of you, kind of touching on that point of like housing insecurity, has not to say that you're politicians, but has thinking about housing insecurity in that how it plays a central part of the film made you think of perhaps certain policy or ideas or just simple ways that we can make people more secure in their homes?
Yeah, I mean, it differs from state to state. It differs from, government to government on like what policies are being implemented for people who are facing houselessness. We here in Los Angeles have always struggled with it. And there's been a lot of programs put into place to try to help, but it's still something that we are facing. And I just feel that with art, telling stories like this helps to keep it in the forefront of discussions. And I feel like that is our job as artists, to do that. We can't solve it, but we can help keep the discussion going by creating characters and stories that people can identify with, that stay with them, and they remember Danny and they remember little Wes, and when they see someone out on the street, it reminds them of those characters they watched, and it may help implement change. But we all have to come together to do that. And us as filmmakers, we don't have all the answers. You're right, we're not politicians, but we put our lens in those darker corners of our society and do our best to shed light to try to help where we can. I mean, films have done that. I mean, Blood Diamond did it to help us, purchase more ethical diamonds. I mean, Beasts of No Nation brought much more awareness to child soldiers in Uganda. And so it can help, but it takes a village.
And Deon, any additional thoughts on that?
Exactly what she was saying. It takes a village to make things happen or whatever. So whatever you can do to bring awareness to it, anybody, then this helps.
And just speaking about Wesley Moss, who plays Wes, like how was it working with her and sort of building that rapport? Because your chemistry, both of you, is like amazing, and it truly does feel like a mother-daughter relationship. And how was it working with her? What was that experience like?
Oh, that's my little angel. She was great. She was actually the easiest. Like whenever I knew it was a Wesley day, I was like, oh, she's gonna have her lines. It's gonna be good. It was like between Wesley and Deon, I knew I didn't have to do anything. They're gonna show up and they're gonna know their stuff. All the other actors, well, except for three others, but mainly they were all crew, so they were nervous, and so I had to spend time directing and getting them to be comfortable on camera. But Wesley, she just was a bundle of joy, and she loved all of us. She especially loves Deon. She calls him Mr. Deon.
And I guess, like, finally, like, what would you both like for audiences to take away from the film?
Do you want to take that?
Just that it's people out here going through a lot, and you know, whatever you can do to help, it'll be necessary. I mean, it'll help. You know, have compassion for people, and you know, check on people. You know, check on the ones that you love, and even the ones you don't love or don't know. Just check on them, and you know, just make sure everybody is all right, because it's, you know, it's kind of hard out here. I mean, it is hard out here, and you just never know what a person's going through. Even if they say they fine, dig a little deeper, because they may not be.
Well said. That's exactly it. And just having empathy for others, and not to assume that everyone is okay. And also that I mean, we've heard it before, but it's true that it's okay not to be okay. You can speak up and tell people, and not be ashamed of needing to ask for help, because we all need it at some point.
Well, Kelley Kali, Deon Cole, thank you very much for your time. It's greatly appreciated. The film's wonderful, and we'll be sharing it with our audience.
Thank you, Fresh.
Thank you. Have a good